I have here with me today John Ive, who has been awarded honorary membership of the IABM in 2017. So welcome, John.
Thank you.
So tell me, John, first of all, why was it that you decided to join the industry?
I guess it started at school. I was fascinated by audio and subsequently video and the technology that made it happen. I was modifying radios and record players at home, much to the consternation of my parents, who were worried they'd never work again. On leaving university, knowing all about transistors and digital logic, I was shocked to see that the BBC, my first employer, still had lots of valve gear. My first activities in Broadcasting House and Maida Vale music studios were upgrades and digital projects. I was lucky because my more senior colleagues were reluctant to embrace the new technology.
So how did the industry look when you first joined?
Broadcasting was certainly glamorous and more interesting than military electronics, which attracted many of my university colleagues at the time. It was a good move. Those first years at the BBC and the training they offered opened the door to other job opportunities. Digital techniques were at their infancy, and it was great to get in at the beginning of something destined to grow.
So what do you believe has been your biggest success during the course of your career?
My next job was at the Independent Broadcasting Authority, with a team developing standards converters and the digital video tape recorder, the DVTR. Digital standards were in development with the SMPTE and EBU. They were playing a big part. The DVTR was a great success, and it was promoted by Howard Steele, who was heading IBA research at the time. So much so that we were recruited by Sony Broadcast to productize the DVTR. I was employee number 16, but that number grew very rapidly. We came up with the idea to create a working group called the ProMPEG Forum. That was to encourage rapid deployment of digital standards and systems. I think that effort, the standards we developed, the funds we raised, and the interoperability demonstrations we staged around the world, in addition to getting suppliers and end users collaborating towards a common cause, was a key achievement.
So looking back, how do you feel about that period now?
Good question. It's kind of strange to have seen the birth of the DVTR and digital systems, for them to become the industry standard and then be replaced, not by a better DVTR, but by totally new methods of video storage and processing.
So what has been the single biggest innovation that you've seen over the course of your career?
Well, yes, the period I've just spoken about was up there, but probably topped by the transformation that is underway right now. This is so much more than a technological change. It's a social change and given us options that few envisaged a decade ago. It affects creatives, technologists, business models and core business operations, all the way up to senior management.
And what do you think our industry will look like in, say, 10 years' time?
If I knew that with any certainty, I'd be starting a new business to reap the rewards. It'll take time, but I suspect we underestimate how the cloud and virtualization will influence technology infrastructures. It also influences the business models, workflows, and new creative possibilities.
And how about you? What do you hope to be doing in 10 years' time?
Yes, Edison said he wanted to live 300 years because he had enough ideas to keep him busy that long. I feel the same in a way, but of course it's unrealistic. I do hope and expect to stay involved with the industry and the IABM. I hope that will go on for several years to come. The IABM plays a key role in nurturing business development. But in addition, I really want to explore the creative opportunities and use technology to produce music and video. This interview is coming from my studio, which I use for music and video recording. I'm learning production techniques and even playing music. Hopefully my eyes and my ears will hold out long enough.
If you could give one piece of advice to a new entrant coming into the industry, what would that be?
Well, first and foremost, if you have the option, follow your passion. Not everyone can do that, but if you can, then the next 40 years or so will be so much more fun.
Yes, indeed. And any other advice?
Yes, I guess embrace change. Remain inquisitive with a desire for lifelong learning. Change happens faster. Skills and experience need continuous updates. Learning new skills helps you discover your real strengths and where your passion lies.
So can you remember any funny episodes over the course of your career? And I'm sure there have been quite a few.
Yeah, there are lots. But one that stands out takes place in Russia. I helped organise a conference several hours outside of Moscow. It was at a countryside retreat and close to fields and a river. The speakers were all European and the audience, of course, Russian, so there was an issue of translation. As the venue was so remote, we concluded we could set up a small transmitter for the translator, and I sourced a couple of hundred Sony transistor radios to tune into the translation. Day one went really well, but on day two the numbers halved. There was no transport back to Moscow until the conference closed, so it was a bit of a mystery. Where had they all gone? At lunch I took a stroll down to the river to find the missing delegates swimming, in fact skinny dipping, drinking vodka and generally having a good time, and using the Sony radios. I assumed they were still tuned into the conference. I think that's what you call unexpected consequences.
Absolutely. So thank you, John. That's been a really interesting insight into your career. And congratulations once again for your honorary membership of the IABM.
Thank you.